family we confide. Rise and lead, together we succeed. In our hearts we believe. Rise and lead, facing fears one step at a time, helping each other climb, with every word and every rhyme. Hand in hand we chart our course, unity is our greatest force. Our family's a powerful source. Rise and lead, together we succeed. In our hearts we believe. Rise and lead. Hand in hand we chart our course, unity is our greatest force. Our family's a powerful source. Rise and lead, together we succeed. In our hearts we believe. Rise and lead. Rise and lead. Rise and lead. In our club we gather here, Meycauayan friends so near, leadership we hold so dear. Public speaking brings us pride, together we stand side by side. In this family we confide. Rise and lead, together we succeed. In our hearts we believe. Rise and lead, facing fears one step at a time, helping each other climb, with every word and every rhyme. Hand in hand we chart our course, unity is our greatest force. Our family's a powerful source. Rise and lead, together we succeed. In our hearts we believe. Rise and lead. Hand in hand we chart our course, unity is our greatest force. Our family's a powerful source. Rise and lead, together we succeed. In our hearts we believe. Rise and lead. Rise and lead. Rise and lead.
everybody. And tonight may not be a pleasant night because the sky is gloomy. But nonetheless, we here will put energy into this virtual background, into this virtual room. And I, as the president of the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, by the powers vested in me by the Toastmaster International, hereby opens this meeting. To open this meeting, I have to tell you that our topic, our theme for tonight is something that is controversial. It was made controversial because of the viewpoints of different people, because we were not used to it. It's a new idea where there are still fewer adherents. But tonight, we will make this theme same-sex marriage. And tonight, we will be led into the program by our Toastmaster of the evening. Let me introduce to you our Toastmaster of the evenings. He was formerly the area director for G3, and he is really shuttling between work and his dedication to this club called Toastmaster. Let us welcome our still youthful looking Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Seri Cortez. Let's give him a big hand.
Thank you so much, President Mar. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and friends. And I just would like to agree with the statement of President Mar that our topic for today is very controversial. Somehow it divides our opinions, but of course, with our theme, which is POVs on same-sex marriage, I hope we will be able to resonate with the objective, that is to have an intellectual discourse about the social issues on the same-sex marriage. So, okay. So good evening once again. Our theme is POVs on same-sex marriage. And after this discussion, I hope we will be able to first is to know more about the origin of the same-sex marriage in the Philippines and its potential benefits. Second is to discuss challenges experienced by same-sex couples and potential reasons why it hasn't passed as we speak. And third is to know what hinders the passage of same-sex marriage in the Philippines. Ano yung nakita niyo? Just to ask, is it's still the same, ano?
It's the same slide POV
Okay,
on
not the
same-sex.
speaker's view.
No,
No.
Okay.
it's the slide.
Okay. So to start my discussion, let us first define what is same-sex marriage. So it is defined as gay marriage or same-gender marriage. It is the marriage of two people of the same legal sex or gender. It is also defined as legally recognized union between two individuals on the same gender, which has been permitted in various jurisdictions, reflecting a broader understanding of marriage between the traditional definition of a union between a man and a woman. So I highlighted in red, it is same legal sex or gender. So it can be man to man, woman to woman, and it became considered as heterosexual if it is in different countries. Say for example, in the Philippines, if it is a transgender to trans or trans man or trans woman. So I just would like to share some general facts of the same-sex marriage. As of this moment, 38 countries legally performed same-sex marriage. The recent country who legalized same-sex marriage was Thailand. And the first law providing for marriage equality between same-sex and opposite-sex couples was passed in Netherlands in 2000 and took effect on April 1, 2001. Okay, so the general facts is that, as I mentioned a while ago, that the first law providing for marriage equality between the same-sex and opposite-sex couples was passed in Netherlands in 2000 and took effect on April 1, 2001. In Asia, only Taiwan and Thailand have legalized the same-sex marriage. Okay, so in terms of same-sex marriage, there are some repercussions that uh, because of love, um, they abide the law in their own country. So here is the example. So two women named Marcela Gracia and Elisa Sanchez are able to get married in A Coruña, Spain. To achieve it, Elisa adopted a male identity under the name Mario Sanchez to marry Marcela, and thus they were able to fool the authorities. So because Spain is not legalizing same-sex marriage, Elisa identified herself as a male by borrowing a male name under the name of Mario Sanchez. And I think this is one of the historic facts in the recent developments of same-sex marriage. Now, I would like to discuss the timeline of same-sex marriage. It was mentioned that Netherlands is the first country who legalized same-sex marriage, and after its progressive development, it was followed by other countries, and as mentioned, that Thailand, this 2025, was the 38th country to legalize same-sex marriage. So the dates are when marriages between same-sex couples began to be officially certified or when local laws were passed if marriages were already legal under higher authority. Now, in terms of the same-sex marriage in the Philippines, the fact is the Philippines still doesn't recognize same-sex unions either in a form of marriage or civil unions. So it doesn't mean that what we saw on the social media, on television, that there are some what we see same-sex couples who are having their own unions in different cities of the Philippines. But of course, our country doesn't still recognize them. So what they're doing are more of a just of a partnership. And of course, our family code of the Philippines defines only recognizes marriages between a man and a woman. And according to the 2018 SWS survey, this is the most updated survey as we speak because I am looking for the recent survey. However, uh, the recent they can provide is the survey from 2018. So, according to the survey, 61% of the Filipinos disagree with a law allowing same-sex or civil unions, while 22 of them agree and 16% are undecided. There are some recent developments before of the same-sex marriage by having these proposed legislations. So there is a House Bill, uh, 3179, which was filed by Albay Representative Edsel Lagman on 2013. So this is an act governing property or ownership of couples of same-sex living together. Upon checking of this House bill, I didn't get any update if it was past the first reading, second reading, or third reading. I think it didn't pass those readings because there were some refiles of this House bill pertaining to same-sex marriage or same-sex unions. It was followed by another proposed legislation was the Senate Bill uh, 417, which was filed by Senator Amy Marcos on 2019. So this is an act instituting a property regime for cohabiting same-sex partners and for other purposes. So the status, as I checked on their Senate website, it is pending in the committee since August 5, 2019. And last is the House Bill 6595, an act recognizing the civil partnership of couples, providing for their rights and obligations, which was filed by Davao Representative Pantaleon Alvarez on 2017. So this was the year where same-sex marriage was discussed even on the Senate, and there were dividing issues on the passage of the bill because, of course, our Senate is diverse. Some of them have their own um, religious affiliations, and others may have religious affiliations, but still have a their own progressive stand on same-sex marriage. So until now, these three proposed legislations in Tagalog, it is considered as nakabinbin. Now, there were also what we called non-recognition of same-sex marriage. So these are the factors why it is still hard for us or is still hard for our country to embrace and to legalize same-sex marriage. First is the Executive Order number 209, series of 1987, or the Family Code of the Philippines. So it is indicated in the Article 1 that marriage is a special contract of permanent union between a man and a woman entered into in accordance with law for the establishment of conjugal and family life. And it also indicated in the Article 2 that no marriage shall be valid unless these essential requisites are present. Legal capacity of the contracting parties who must be a male or female. So the prerequisite for a legal marriage in the Philippines that you should be a man and a woman or male and a female. In the basis of our birth certificate that the person must be born as male and female. So if you are a man who became a trans woman and you have the intention to marry a man on the basis of his legal gender, then definitely it will not be considered as a legal same-sex marriage. That will be considered as illegal. Second, there were also non-recognitions in terms of House Bill, which was filed before. So first is the House Bill 1245. It is an act amending Executive Order 209 or the Family Code of the Philippines, which limiting marriage to natural-born males and natural-born female. So this was filed by the former Muntinlupa Representative Rufi Biazon, and this bill prohibits marriages between two men or two women who had a sex exchange operation in between, because given the fact that there is some recent developments in the medical field where a man can have a sex interchange. So um he filed the bill um to avoid this kind of marriage. So with this recent developments in the field of medicine, it is now possible to alter or change a person's sexual organ to make it appear as of that the opposite sex. And according to him, it is directly challenge the laws of the God, the nature, and even of a man. Second is the Senate Bill 1276, an act amending the Family Code of the Philippines, which was filed by former Senator and the late Miriam Defensor Santiago. And the last is the House Bill 6919. It is an act declaring illegal same-sex marriage and providing penalties for violation thereof and for other purposes, which was filed by the Manila Representative Benny Abante. Regardless of these proposed legislations, which was sleeping in the Congress and in the Senate, and some of our current uh, legal laws um which prohibits the legalization of same-sex marriage, there are still recent developments. So number one is the Right to Care card, which was launched on June 24, 2023 by the Quezon City government under their mayor, Joy Belmonte, coinciding with Pride Month observance. So during the what they called as the Love Lavan, so it is a Pride Month celebration happened during the month of June in Quezon City. The Right to Care card was launched. And on June the 13th, 2025, it was followed by the government of San Juan, where they passed the City Ordinance number 16, series of 2025, which authorizing a right to care for city residents. So what does it mean? So the right to care has the benefits where you will get some hospital or other medical facilities rights, um and this card could be availed through the City Gender and Development Office. So the right to care card is only exclusive under the city's jurisdiction only. So say for example, if you lived in Makati and you want to avail the right to care card, you will not be able to avail because you are not a resident of Quezon City. So this kind of recent developments are only involved within their jurisdiction. Okay, so with those facts that we have known about same-sex marriage, what are the benefits if we legalize same-sex marriage? Second is, how can a same-sex parents influence their um their child or their children? So that will be tackled later on. So for now, we will be discussing the education portion of our meeting by care of Sir Mar to give our word of the night. Sir Mar.
Yes, as the
Yeah.
grammarian of the night, what I can think of as an instant word of the night is first of all unisex, or and by unisex means originally it refers to clothes, like it can be worn by a woman or by a man. But unisex has given way to a lot of words like bisexual. So we can say bisexual could be a good word of the night. Of course, it does not prohibit us from coming up with words like transvestite or one who cross dresses, and probably the neutral word like can be bipolar, or it can be, and the LBQ T plus. So we can use all these words tonight freely. Okay, so um, it can be made as the word of the night. Bisexual, meaning one can be both a male and a female, both possessing uh, the attributes of a woman, or the way of thinking of a woman, or the way of thinking of a man. In other words, bisexual can be defined as one a woman caught in a man's body, or a man's body caught in a man caught in a woman's body, or one can function to be both. Yes, thank you. I hope that everybody can find time to use this liberally, or can use this as many times as you can, without, of course, creating prejudice and biases. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mar. But can I also discuss? But we have another word of the night which is included in our program. I think that the word is dogma.
Oh yes, you can use dogma.
Oh yes. Okay, so wait. Okay, so I think that's also our word of the day. The word is dogma. So that's our some another word of the day. But to provide a healthy discussion of our meeting, let us also call our table topics master of the day. So our table topics master of the day is our former president, club president, Toastmaster Jeff Robles.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I think we will have, since we have our prepared speaker one and two, we can have brief table topics, unlike what we have discussed early on, that we will have a table topics marathon. So our theme for tonight is very timely, and I may say commonly used on different societies. We have different views on this theme, which is our POVs on same-sex marriage. Our Toastmaster of the evening early on has discussed what's the same-sex marriage and the laws on the Philippines. And I hope you have learned very much from our resource person, Toastmaster Sedi. So our segment for this period is one of the most exciting part of in a Toastmasters regular meeting. It's what I call impromptu speaking exercise, because it's where you have to think on your feet in a span of 1 to 2 minutes, because you will see on the screen that a green will be flashed if you have spoken in 1 minute, and then the yellow will be flashed for 1 minute and 30, and 3 minutes will be flashed. Red will be flashed if you have spoken for 2 minutes. So you only have 30 seconds grace period to not be qualified or being overtime. So let me share my screen for this segment. So I prepared a short presentation. I think this is what is 15 topics, but I hope if everyone still wants to have practice of their impromptu speaking, we can go on and finish these 15 topics. But for now, I'll focus on this 5 table topics. So again, our session for this table topics is about POV on same-sex marriage. It's an exploration of perspectives through impromptu speaking. So we have the speaking pattern are commonly used. One is SMG, story, message, game. You have to tell a story, which you will share a personal anecdote, for example, and then state your message on the middle of your speech, and then you have to share what you have gained or reflect on what you have realized on the story and message to your audience. The second speaking pattern is PPF or past, present, future. You have to say the past, how things were before. Next is the present, the current situation, and what you are looking for at the future, or where we're heading or should go. So we have already 2 common patterns, SMG, PPF. The third one is prep method. It's point, reason, example, point. So first, you have to state your position up front, and then explain why you should hold this view. Then give an example to provide supporting evidence on your point. And then on your conclusion, you have to state again your point to restate your conclusion. Then lastly, one of the most common table topic pattern is change the subject. So if you don't know the subject or the topic, you just have to misdirect your audience. So if you're uncomfortable with the question, basically pivot to a related topic confidently while remaining relevant to the theme. So we will have our first table topics. So I need some volunteers here. Or you can chat on the chat box if you want to volunteer. Anyone who wants to try this first topic? Give me a show of hands. Rose, would you like to try our first table topic?
One moment, let me adjust my camera.
All right. The first table topic is, should the government have a say in who people can or cannot marry? Again, should the government have a say in who people can or cannot marry? TM Rose.
Do we need the government's blessing for anyone to get married? For me, I say yes. The government is an important institution in every country, and I say they are important because if they would be able to recognize a same-sex marriage, then it would be a win for the community, right? With the government's blessing or with them agreeing with the same-sex marriage, these people will be protected. And more laws, can you hear me all right? More laws will be provided for them, and then they would be able to live. Sorry, hang on. They would be able to live as the same as a man and a woman who's married. And then for us to be able to recognize, or for the government to be able to recognize them, I I think it will be beneficial for everyone, so that all the rights will be distributed, they will be monitored, they will have their rights, and they would have yes, and they will not be penalized for choosing who they would want to be together with for the rest of their lives. I think it is important, not just for people, but for the government to recognize same-sex marriage. Toastmaster Jeff? Sorry, was my audio bad?
It's just how we have to heard it barely, but I know I think
sorry.
I have understood it. So well, thank you, Temrose, for having the courage to share your point of view regarding this topic. I know the government cannot, I would say they can impose, but well, it's still on different. It's it's still based on the different opinions of people, right? And whether the government will have a say on it, it's let's just put it into perspective and wait for, let's just be vocal on our opinion to the government so they can hear us. All right, so who wants to volunteer for our next table topic? I know these topics are very challenging because we have to share our own opinions regarding this topic. Can we have Tim Oscar for the second table topic? All right. So here's your topic, Tim Oscar. Is same-sex marriage a civil right or a religious issue? Is same-sex marriage a civil right or a religious issue? Tim Oscar.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. The right to marry is both a moral and a legal obligation. First and foremost, the government has to institute laws to benefit not only men and women, but generations whose preferences give them. In the Philippines, there is two, equality among women and men, inclusive of the third generation, that is the LGBTQ. But because of the impediments, and I'd like to say huge impediments in the approval and in the passing of these laws. The Philippines is a highly Catholic and Christian country. Now we deal with the moral ascendancy and the moral effect of same-sex marriage in the Philippines. While everywhere else in the world, mostly in the United States, where almost the 50 states have adopted same-sex marriage, it has become a legal right for people to live in peace, harmony, and liberty. It's not about gender. Gender is just an incidental aspect of life. It's because we have been used to believing that it's basically a woman and a wife that is also preempted by procreation. Many men and many women have loved each other because its foundation is love. It's not gender. And procreation is a God-given gift, that I agree, but it's not the be-all of things. I will deliver a speech tonight which is very personal. And I'd like to say that equality in this world is still wanting. A lot of people are still living in the dark. A lot of people are still in quandary as to whether they will come out as homosexuals or bisexuals. It's because the society is not as adaptable, is not as accepting, is not as viable as the rest of the world. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Oscar. Yeah, the key takeaway that I learned from Oscar's speech is the rest of the world is not yet ready to accept based on his speech on this dogma. And
Toastmaster.
although
The rest of the world has actually adapted to same-sex marriage quite decently over the past so many years. Yes, it's the highly religious countries that are not really into it yet because of the moral values that affect. And one of those is the Philippines. I believe no
yeah,
matter how hard we try to lift or to pursue this area in our a little more time for them this delivery of passing on the list.
all right. Thank you, Oscar. Um, for our third table topic, someone volunteered. Right, are you ready? Yeah. Please do unmute first. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I'm ready,
Yes.
ready.
Okay. So, Right, here's your table topic, Right. Your topic is how do you respond when someone's dogma clashes with your beliefs? How do you respond when someone's dogma clashes with your beliefs? Right, this.
Respect is something that we need to practice as we journey in this world. We need to be respectful, number one, to the opinion of other people, number two, to their personal beliefs, and lastly, to their religious affiliation. I personally, with regards to our topic, I am not, I am not in support in same-sex marriage as a terminology because there are those people who might get offended because the marriage in a way is created by the Judeo-Christian values or the Judeo-Christian God that is written in the Bible. He set a standard from which uh, he created marriage with a man and a woman. But I also believe that those who belong to the LGBTQ community should be protected by law. That is why, in my personal opinion, for this law to pass in the Philippines, it should be called same-sex union so that we will not offend those people who are not in support in using the word marriage. By doing so, we can now protect the rights of LGBTQ members of our community. Number two, they will now have the right to adopt kids. Especially nowadays, there are many kids that is up for adoption and needs parenting. And I do believe if we will approve the same-sex union, all the LGBTQ couples will be able to adopt and will be able to nurture and to love their kids, especially nowadays when the topic regarding the death of a former director, Wendy Ramas, there is a doubt within their family if indeed the kid is his own because in birth certificate the name is written as uh, the name written as father is his name, and the the mother is a female, in which their family believes that he is not capable of having a kid with a woman because he is a member of LGBT community. So that is why if he will be able to marry his common law, to marry his partner in real life, he will be able to put his name on it, and their kids will have no doubt that it was their children papers legally because they adopt it in a legal way. So that is why I believe that we need to give everybody a chance to experience, to have a family, to experience and to own property as a couple, and everybody should live harmoniously. And let's open the discussion with regards to this specific situation and scenario. Back to you, Toastmaster Jeff.
Thank you, Temrai, for sharing your view on this topic. So my key takeaway from Temrai's speech is to differentiate marriage from same-sex union. So thank you, Temrai. And I think this would be the last table topic. Could we have DTM Christine? Hello, DTM Christine, we missed you. Is it okay?
Yes, yes, sure.
All right. Thank you. Hello, DTM Christine. Do you believe
Yes.
love is enough to define a family? Do you believe love is enough to define a family? DTM Christine.
Good evening, everyone. Well, it's been a while, but a family is, well, in definition, when we define a family, it is like composed of parents and children. But family, I think, should encompass more than the parents and the family, because sometimes we call a group of people who are close to each other as family. We consider non-relatives to be our family as well, as long as we are close to them and we have a good relationship with other people. Now, in family, love is not the only definition, or love is not the defining word for a family, because I distinctly remember one seminar that we attended, and it was given by Father Manuling Francisco in Ateneo, that love sometimes that exists between people or among people may wane, especially even it happens also between husband and wife. But it's not only love that encompasses a family. There is respect. Aside from love, there is respect, there is commitment, and many other values that should compose a family. So love is not only the defining word to call to be in a family. There are many things, as I mentioned, and respect is very important, because after, if love wanes, then respect and commitment will have to be the operative words in the family. So a family is more than parents and children. A family, I think, is whoever the people you're close to, you can call family. And even us in Toastmasters, we're family here. We're a group of people who care for each other, who support each other. And I believe that family in a bigger compass of words can be considered as applicable to people who care for each other, who support each other. So love is not only the word, but there are many other things like respect, commitment, and many other values that should make the family tie itself among people that compose the family. Good evening.
Thank you, DTM Christine, for sharing that share view on the topic. So my key takeaway from the speech of distinguished Toastmaster Christine is love cannot define a family. So a family is more than parents and child because not only them can be called a family. Just like us in Toastmasters, we can be called a family. My Toastmasters family. Thank you everyone for all those who volunteered and voluntold for this segment. And I hope you have learned from your co-Toastmaster on their different views about our theme for tonight. And you have also heard the use of word of the night, bisexual and dogma. So I encourage everyone for possibly on the next segments, please do use the word of the night. And thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the night, Sedi Cortez.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jeff, for facilitating our table topic session. And it was a healthy discussion with everyone where we didn't just give our opinions, but we were able to give our own inputs about our topic. So moving forward our uh, with my presentation. Okay, so I just would like to give a shed of information on what are the benefits of legalizing same-sex marriage. So I dissected it into three. So first is legal and financial benefits. Second is social and personal benefits. And third is socio-economic benefits. First, in the legal and financial is the employment and tax benefits. Wherein, given the fact in the Philippines, we have different tax bracket when a person or an individual is single or married. So if same-sex marriage is legalized in our country, then definitely same-sex partners will save much because of there is a diminution in terms of their taxes. Second is the social security benefits, wherein same-sex spouses can claim social security benefits. So that includes retirement, disability, and survivor benefits. Third is inheritance rights, where the marriage provides property ownership, survivorship rights, and allows for unlimited asset transfers between spouses without triggering federal estate taxes. And fourth is domestic violence protection. In terms of the social and personal benefits, first is, of course, equality. Second would be improved health and well-being. And third is stronger relationships. In terms of the socio-economic, of course, it will allow us to reduce our public health costs. And there is an advancement of human rights. As we as we gave the benefits of same-sex marriage, of course, in the Philippines alone, there are some challenges where same-sex partners experience as they are living in a country where same-sex marriage is considered illegal. So, in terms of the legal and financial challenges, number one is the lack of legal rights. Second is property ownership. And third is insurance limitations. So these are one of the most common experience same-sex partners experience in our country. What I noticed is more of the insurance limitation because some insurance companies have coverages where they only provide it for married couples. Second, in terms of the social and psychological challenges, number one, there is still social stigma where um since there is homophobia and denying of marriage rights in our country, sometimes it leads to mental health challenges or issues with the individual. And of course, there is a family and community rejection. And in terms of socio-economic, it um since same-sex marriage is considered illegal, some same-sex couples has experienced limitations in terms of their access in healthcare. Now, I just would like to discuss the a research study wherein they studied on how a same-sex or how a child where under a same-sex partners experience parenthood. So in a research study which entitled Growing Up with Same-Sex Parents, an exploration on Filipino teenagers with having same-sex couples as parents, the abstract of this study is to investigate various formation processes that have been developed by teenagers who have same-sex couples as parents. So, according to this research, here are the findings. So, number one, the effects of having same-sex couples as parents on teenagers' social interactions reflects on difficulties communicating with peers. Second is to comfortable with interacting with same-sex and LGBTQIA plus peers. And third is beliefs against religious teachings. So it is being said that there is just a similarity between how a children experience a certain treatment from both homosexual and heterosexual parents. Third is the behavioral outcomes of teenagers who grew up with the same-sex couples has no difference with heteronormative type of parents, because we always have this kind of stereotype that parents who are in the same sex had a different mindset versus of those who are on the opposite sex. But this research study was able to not only dissect the discussion, but they were able to defy the those kind of stereotyping. So this is a type of research where um it is being studied in a country, which is the Philippines, who is not legalizing same-sex marriage. Now we can compare it with a research study where there is same-sex marriage. So in an research study article entitled Behavioral Outcomes of Children with Same-Sex Parents in the Netherlands, the finding was children in both types, so same-sex and heteronormative, shows similar level of behavioral adjustment, and that no statistically significant difference between children with same and different sex parents can be found. So it will be also the same with the other research study earlier, that there is no difference on the treatment and between same-sex and opposite-sex parents. Okay. So I will be ending my presentation up to the moment. For fellow Toastmasters and friends to give his table topics evaluation, let us call Toastmaster, let us call our Area 01 Director, Toastmaster Jomar.
Thank you very much to our TME for giving me this time for our table topics evaluation. Our theme for tonight is very, very challenging to answer, but I would like to congratulate our four brave souls who have given their insights and dogma regarding our topic for tonight. All of them have given very interesting opening statement, which are very related to the questions given to them. I was instructed with the opening statement of Toastmaster Roast that the government should give blessings about people whom to marry. And for Toastmaster Oscar, about the right of being, whether it is moral or a legal obligation. Toastmaster Rai already stated the three reasons why he believes that marriage should be a same-sex marriage should be in the form of a same-sex union. While our distinguished Toastmaster Christine give us a definition about family. These statements are very powerful because it centralized the idea of their main topic. They have given a strong point of view about how do they believe in these statements or questions. They also have given us different opinions which are very related to their opening statements. And for distinguished Toastmaster Christine Timblique, the powerful opening leads also to a powerful call to action by stating that family not only with love but also with care, support, respect, and commitment. Toastmaster Rai closes his table topics portion by also giving 3 points to funder, same as true with his opening statement that is very aligned with his speech. For Toastmaster Oscar, he said that equality is one thing and it is like living in the dark, which is also a call to action which strengthens his point of view about being moral and legal in the same-sex marriage. For Toastmaster Rose, that the government should have a recognition in her blessings. All our speakers for their next table topics, I believe there are some many reasons why we cannot speak in front of the camera. I would like to commend on this our distinguished Toastmaster Christine Timblique for using her platform very well. And I could see how she uses his hands in delivering her speech. So fellow Toastmasters, always remember that in giving such speech, we inspire and we give our personal opinions. And these personal opinions are being respected by our fellow Toastmasters because, as we say, Toastmasters is one of the safest world or haven for every person that we met. So fellow Toastmasters, we would like also to commend our Toastmaster of the evening by reminding us the elements of table topics by showing us the table topics pattern and the time element was also discussed. For the points of improvement to Toastmaster Jeff, give us the whys why we do table topics. In doing so, you are giving also importance. Why do we practice table topics in Toastmasters? By doing so, for example, in the why, what if your boss or your wife or your husband asks you something which ask a question which you don't want to answer as soon as possible. By taking time, just like taking the time to pause and answer, you are giving yourself also a time to prepare for a very good and legit answer. Just like in this dogma of the same-sex marriage, I was being able to ask myself also, do I like it or I am not? As of the moment, I will be saying I am not into the same-sex marriage unless there will be grounds supporting the separation between the union of a man and a woman and the same-sex marriage. So fellow Toastmasters, thank you very much for being with us for tonight, and thank you for evaluating me also later on. I hope to have more time with you, but I need to go home. And thank you very much. Back to our TME.
Thank you so much, Area Director Jomar, for gracing us with in our meeting today. And you will be evaluated later on by our general evaluator, Sir Mar. Because on our last part, we will be tackling what are the factors that hinder same-sex marriage, and it will also allow us to answer if our country is ready to legalize same-sex marriage. But before that, we will be on our prepared speeches. So for our first prepared speaker will be delivering his for his Pathways Level 4.2 Effective Coaching Path, with the purpose of to practice the skills needed to effectively use public relation strategies for any group situation. The time is 5 to 7 minutes, and she will be evaluated by the three pillars of Meycauayan Toastmasters Club: Distinguished Toastmaster Dana Palinga, Distinguished Toastmaster Christine Temblique, and Toastmaster Rose Pagia, who will represent our club in the area contest. So fellow Toastmasters and friends, with his speech titled Married for Love, let us welcome our first prepared speaker, Toastmaster Oscar.
Oscar, you're on mute.
I'm sorry, Christine and everybody. Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster, for the evening. And this is a note to the timer, because this is a theme that is very close to my heart. And it's something that I am so passionate about discussing with other people. And I may become a little bit emotional with the speech I'm going to deliver tonight. So instead of delivering it live, I decided to actually videotape it, and I will be sharing it to you with some pictures. The first time I met Ed, the man who would become my husband, I didn't know he would change my life forever. But what I do remember is how he made me feel safe, understood, and seen. Not judged nor questioned, simply accepted for who I was. That I believe was the beginning of our love. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and friends. That love lasted for 46 years. 46 years of laughter, arguments, sometimes reconciliations, and raising a small family. 46 years of commitment that was every bit as real, as deep, and as sacred as any other marriage. One of the most unforgettable days of our life together was our wedding day on February 19, 2015, at the beautiful San Francisco City Hall. It was also our 37th year together. Both our families were present and we were joyful. There were nerves, of course, some whispers, questions, some cautious glances, but when we finally exchanged our vows, the room changed. It was no longer about doubt or differences. It was about two people promising their lives to one another. But in 2023, early on, I noticed Ed was
losing some weight. I was worried. We went to a gastroenterologist because he was complaining about stomach cramps and pains. Shortly after that, he was admitted at a hospital in Quezon City. But my friends, the process of admission in that hospital was a little bit rude, to say the least. I was denied the authority to make decisions for him. And after almost half a century of being his partner, I was told, "Sir, you are not family." That pain, friends, is something I hope no other loving couple will ever have to endure. Ed continued his medical journey at Stanford Hospital, where he spent most of his last year in and out. He was operated on for more than 8 hours, and my crutches during those crucial moments were my deep faith in God and my rosary. In February of 2024, his condition became serious, and the doctors told him his lifespan was no longer measured in years, but months. That was the saddest day of our lives, but Ed's strong spirit kept us afloat. And to cheer us up, the whole medical staff at Stanford Hospital celebrated our 46th anniversary with a cake, flowers, hugs, and celebrations and congratulations. A stark contrast to our experience in Manila. Ed got the best medical service, and on top of that, our dignity as a couple honored and celebrated. His time came on March 16, 2024. Fellow Toastmasters, some argue that marriage is only for a man and a woman, often citing religion and procreation. I respect those beliefs, but let me share our truth. We raised a son together. He grew up in a home filled with love, discipline, and laughter. Today, he is married and a medical professional in California, caring for patients in one of the world's most respected medical institutions, Stanford Hospital, where his daddy Ed spent the last year of his life. Isn't that the true measure of family? Raising children who become compassionate, responsible adults. Some say same-sex love is different. But let me tell you, the nights spent holding each other through thickness and sickness and the joy of anniversaries, the small quarrels and disagreements, those moments are the same in every marriage. And here in contrast in Manila, where I was denied recognition, but in the United States and many parts of the world, we found a haven, a country where liberty, dignity, and acceptance gave us the freedom to simply be who we were, a married couple, raising a family, living a life built on love. That freedom was just not a legal right, it was a human one. Marriage, at its heart, is not about gender, it's about commitment, about choosing one person every single day to love and to honor, even when the world tells you your love is less worthy. Looking back at those 46 years, I learned that marriage is not a perfect harmony. It is two imperfect people refusing to give up on each other. It is learning to laugh at each other's quirks, forgive each other's flaws, and celebrate each other's strengths. It is standing before your families, saying yes with trembling voices, and sealing it with the best kiss of your life. And that, friends, is the essence of love. I do not stand here to condemn those with different beliefs. I respect them, but I ask for respect in return. Because love, no matter who shares it, has the power to heal, to endure, and to inspire. Ed may be gone, but our love lives on. It lives in our son Joshua. It lives in the countless lives touched by our example. And it lives in me, reminding me each day that we were truly married for love. So tonight, let us remember this. Marriage is not defined by gender, but by the depth of love two people are willing to give. And if love can last 46 years and beyond death itself, then surely love is worth the recognition today, in the future, here, and everywhere. Good evening, and back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that inspiring and heartwarming speech, Toastmaster Oscar. That is something that I am ready to hear more in the upcoming area contest. Okay. So I will be sharing the last part of my presentation. Okay, so with the question, what are the factors that hinder the passage of same-sex marriage? Second is, will same-sex marriage be passed in the Philippines? So I just would like to share the factors that hinders the passage of same-sex marriage. First is homophobia. So it means that the negative attitudes towards the LGBTQIA plus community is considered a barrier for the passage, not only with the same-sex marriage, but also with the what we call the SOGI-SC bill. So it means all genders, including the LGBTQI plus community, um, should is pursuing for equality. However, there are some people who has misconception with the SOGI-SC bill, as they were saying that it will make the LGBTQIA plus community superior than the other gender. But the just to give a context, the SOGI-SC bill is uh, is involving all the genders. So it consists of man, woman, and the LGBTQIA plus community. So since homophobia is considered a barrier, studies have shown that the public opinion on issues related to same-sex marriage is a predictor in terms of the legalization. Second is religion. As mentioned by Toastmaster Oscar, we are the Philippines is a Catholic country, where majority of which are Roman Catholics, with a 78.8% in terms of its demographics. So, given that fact, it each and every time that there will be bills, Senate bill, House bill pertaining to same-sex marriage, there will be opinions needed the by our by these religious affiliations. Third is cultural norms. So that could also be a factor. And lastly are the legal and political barriers. Because some of politicians who has or those who are in power, sometimes they have that the upper hand whether to pass or to legalize or not the same-sex marriage. So, fellow Toastmasters and friends, is the Philippines ready to pass the same-sex marriage or same-sex union? It still depends on this. It still depends of if we will still be able to surpass these hindrances. Is the Philippines progressive enough? Can we eliminate homophobia? Are these religious affiliations open for discussion? If we pass the RH bill, can same-sex marriage also GSC bill or the divorce law can um can pass through? Are we able to swipe away with our cultural norms? And last but not the least, are we ready or Can we, okay, since everything is political, are we ready to vote for someone who is progressive? So that is my conclusion with my presentation in same-sex marriage. And I hope we learned so much and we were able to cultivate discussions. And we know that this is still a dividing issue. But since we are still need to establish respect, of course we will respect the opinions of everyone, but it shouldn't diminish the right of the others to fight for themselves in terms of equality. So with that being said, that concludes our education portion and our prepared speeches. So we are now moving forward with the last part of our evaluation. To give his general evaluation, let us welcome our club president, President Mar Libiran.
Yes, good evening, fellow Toastmasters. As your general evaluator, let me let me tell you that I really commend this club for having a definite topic weeks before the meeting. And again, this club, I found it touches topic that some other club may not find comfortable, or some other club may not touch, because some other clubs are really keen on, say, touching those that are close to the heart, but controversial or technical matters. I guess this club does that. And really, the Toastmaster of the evening has so much preparation, in fact, doing research. So I would like to commend this club for having a very uh, definite, or shall we say, a very specific technical topic that some other club would not like to touch. And this is the same-sex marriage for tonight. I also noted that this club, some of the club members come say 15 minutes before the schedule, meaning they allow time for interaction. They allow time for exchanging pleasantries, or for getting to know the whereabouts of each other. And this is a good indicator if we have a club culture. So uh, that means that even guests feel welcome, that you can make last minute adjustments among the role takers, and and the show will certainly go on, as they say. So this club is really that commitment that the show must go on no matter what. We may have initially few members or few attendees at the start, but we found out over these meetings that soon after 7 o'clock, there's some additions still. So let me take note of that. The club meeting course started not at 7 but 7:05, and here is a good adjustment, because we know that it will be best to wait for others to understand their situation, and then uh, find some grace period. Some grace period is sometimes necessary, yes, to really capture to assure the presence of everybody. Now, for the table topics, I would like to again commend the general the table topics master. But again, I have noticed that this club is so resilient because sometimes a last minute volunteer among the minor roles such the tag team takes place and members volunteering. Uh, Again, let me start evaluating using the table topics. And here am I again. We have proven over time the readiness of our immediate past president to become table topics master. And yes, it's a good thing that it is very notable that he's challenging us, not just a true coach, but sometimes questions even brings out a deeper exchange of thought. And if it is one way of getting to know a person uh, on a deeper way because of his personal stand on some matters. So I like the way that the the table topics are set of questions, how you stand your particular position on certain issues when there are issues involved, maybe in terms of religion, maybe in terms of morals or whatsoever. So I like the way that our table topics has really become ready for his role. And of course, I would like to thank our table topics evaluator. And it was a good thing that the table topics evaluation occurred earlier, meaning we understand the situation of the person that he has to live. And again, I would like to comment the good thoughts of Toastmaster Jomar because Toastmaster Jomar was able to pick the gist of the matter quickly, and he did not engage in long-winded comments, but very straight comments. And of course, I also like the speech of Toastmaster Oscar. And again, this is an innovation. Sometimes when somebody has reached a certain level of, say, expertise in this Toastmaster meeting, it demands that sometimes it may amount to not only one evaluator, but to two or three evaluators. Right now, we can probably hear the evaluation of the speech of Toastmaster Oscar to our distinguished panel of evaluators. Let us begin with our immediate past director, BTM Christine Temblique, to give an evaluation of Toastmaster Oscar's speech. Ready?
Good evening again, everyone. Oscar, it's been a while. But thank you for this chance to evaluate. I understand that this is an evaluation. So there are three of us in order to improve for the area. When is the area contest?
November 29.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so maybe I can point out the strength of your speech, Oscar, and then go to what can be improved on. So in terms of strong points, your organization is very fluid. I think we are able to follow the intensity of the life and love that you have narrated to us. So I think that's something that is very commendable, and the audience can really be caught because it's very engaging. The topic is something that's not ordinary. I mean, it's something that everyone can relate, as it is very appropriate now, very relevant to our times. And there may be, it may be controversial in a sense for some people, because not everyone maybe can accept the fact of the same-sex marriage. But anyway, I think personally, I am open. I have an open mind, and I laud and I admire people who can accept things and who can really be transparent to themselves. So the strength of your speech is, it really encompasses the content of joy, pain, and faith. So there are many, many values, and there are many lessons that can be learned from your speech. The union of persons who love each other. And I think the content of the speech really showed the intensity of, especially with the words that you use, which penetrate the hearts of your listeners. So those are very, very strong points, the strong points of your speech. What I would like you to improve on, because this is an area piece, would be maybe the pausing and the pacing. You are delivering your speech in a very heartfelt manner, but you seem to have forgotten the art of pausing, and the pacing is like a continuous flow, which sometimes doesn't really highlight the strong points or the more important aspect of your speech. The pain, especially when you learned of the sickness of Ed, should really be, the crux of your speech. And then what you have learned, what you have felt, and what you have experienced should really be emphasized. So the pacing is very important. The pausing also is very important. Another thing is, I don't know where you can maybe insert an instance, the dynamics between the two of you, and maybe even with Joshua, just to show the reality, the beauty of the reality in your marriage, in your union. Okay. And I think this will really show the intensity, the love, and everything that your relationship encompassed. Your delivery is somehow very sober. I know, because I know the feeling. But maybe give a little bit, the vocal variety, so that the intensity, maybe the sobriety, can really be differentiated. But otherwise, I think it's a very, very, speech that touch the heart, and that can really be, lend reflections on people who will listen to you and who will feel for you. So thank you, Oscar, for sharing your heart with us. Good evening.
And I agree with all the points that you raised, Christine. That was a 7 minute and 17-second speech. So the pausing was not in my mind, also because this was complemented with some slides that I actually sent in the chat group now. So maybe without those slides, I can probably concentrate more on the pausing and the intensity, and also highlight some of the points that you believe should be highlighted. And also, I agree with you, I need to incorporate those very tender moments with Ed and our son, just to add value to the relationship that is basically founded on love and respect. I agree with all of your comments. Thank you. But is this an area speech contest possibility, considering that, as you said, it's a very controversial topic to discuss? But it shows the emotions, it shows love, and I think you will, as I agree with you when you said it might engage the audience in a certain way, but it may also distract other people who believe otherwise. So I'm actually at the crossroad whether that speech is appropriate for a contest or not.
Well, Oscar, just to reply to you, I've heard a similar speech in an area contest, and it was he won last year. He won the area contest. I think we Toastmasters have very, very open. Most of the people are open-minded when it comes to this. Yeah. So don't change.
Thank you.
Mar, you're on mute.
Yes, let me call this time another evaluator for seeing it on a different perspective. Toastmaster Rose Pilar, or you said Pilar. Pilar, can you give
Pilar.
your evaluation, Toastmaster Rose?
All right, thank you for your introduction, Toastmaster Mar. One moment. I did not listen to Toastmaster Christine's evaluation. I had my headset down. I was just watching her move her lips and I cannot lip read. Okay, let's do this. I have a question for everyone. Do you love to cry? Toastmaster Oscar, congratulations. You have made me bawl my eyes out with your emotional speech. You have taken me on a ride. Toastmaster Oscar, let me point the organization of your speech. It was flawless. You gave us markers 46 years, 2023, 2024. You even gave us markers for the venue, Quezon City versus California. For the delivery of your speech, I would like to laud your good tone, your voice. It has that quality of, let's say, a radio broadcaster. I think it's very good and appealing to the ears. And let's see here. For the content, I think it was very rich the way you wrote it. You had the power of three, and you have beautiful words and beautiful contrasts. You used all these literary devices to your advantage. Now, Toastmaster Oscar, let me give you a point so that you can level up your speech next time. Let's see here. Let's turn it into an episode of Maalaala Mo Kaya. For me, for the content, we can make, as I have written here, make the enemy bigger. Right? So that we understand that there are big societal hindrances already for you, but we can be more descriptive of that incident back in that hospital in Quezon City. I won't make any guesses. You can, so that it can be a more personal attack on you, and so that when you go to California and eventually at the turn of your story be victorious, and it will sound and appear that you have conquered that personal hindrance of yours. Now for your delivery, I would like to note that we would appreciate the video very much. I think I would add another liter of tears if I saw how you delivered it when I see your eyes. And then just a pause, just a few pauses, strategic pauses when you say after say after March 2024, like that. You can add a pause and, like, make everyone samba again. Oh my gosh. Toastmaster Oscar, congratulations. It was a ride. You gave us a beautiful speech that was organized with a good tone, delivered with a good tone of voice, and all this rich vocabulary. Please add on the content on the problem so that your victorious will be more felt in the end. And a little note on the delivery to give us the video version of your speech. With that, it will be Dogma, the Toastmaster Oscar will be our champion. Back to RGE.
Yes, thank you very much. Toastmaster Rose. Yes, our Lomi speaker for tonight has really delivered a powerful speech. Some of us who have never been in with you in the early part of the Meycauayan Toastmaster Club existence got to know you more through this speech. And of course, it was wonderful knowing you. Yes, for the evaluators, I cannot say anything less about uh, Toastmasters Christine's comment because she nailed it. I I have I really admire her uncanny ability to spot the little details. Like, and she used sandwich method in evaluating speech of Toastmaster Oscar, and it's really sharp to the point. Pacing, pausing, and vocal variety because that is a story, and each story will become more impactful with this all element. It's impactful in its present state, but we can enhance the impact. We can even heighten the experience through all of this pacing, pausing, and uh, highlighting the pain. After all, this is the crux of the speech of Toastmaster Oscar. His experience that he wants to share, no matter what people say, but it is his experience. About Toastmaster Rose. Toastmaster Rose, it's a lively way of communicating because, you see, turning it like MMK, that is really driving home to the point of every listeners. And yes, there could be a small an episode. It is a big whole experience, but can be an episode, and we can insert a beauty of about that uh, story of Toastmaster Oscar. If well, since the evaluators have a very excellent evaluation, it appears to me it's airtight that I cannot find anything else to pick on. But I only suggest about to Toastmaster Christine, for instance, that you just add probably a phrase, an exclamation, "Hi, Oscar," something like that, like exclaim. Yes, that's it. And for Toastmasters, the same thing. And yes, it was a beautiful story, Toastmaster Oscar. And see, you are not really I see a little bit of underacting pa nga in your speech. Like you're not too loud. Like you're sometimes it's beautiful when there is a little bit of underacting. Yes, even in movies. Yes, for our Toastmaster of the evening, Sedi Cortez. Toastmaster Sedi, you did your well as Toastmaster of the evening. You see the research that you put in your work reflected that this same-sex marriage is not just a term. It's a composite whole that involves so many angles, so many facets. That was the what your various information divulges. That it is not just a question of question of say you agree or disagree, but it has many ramifications or many complications or whatever facet or many aspects. Toastmasters Eddie, I can only commend you for your uh, again for your tone of being so concerned about this topic. And of course, I have a team of what we say as tag team or gut team. I'm also a grammarian, and let me cite you some points. Yes, for the users of the word of the night, it is also my role to keep tab of the users of the word of the night first role. And Mr. Marian, I noted that there two people use the word of the night dogma. That was Toastmaster Jomar and Toastmaster Rose. Pardon me if I did not if I missed somebody. And for the lapses about mechanics, I only noted one, and I will not, and probably it's just giving also importance instead of maybe it would be smooth also giving importance rather than giving also importance. Maybe just the order, but of course to an unkeen eye or to an unkeen ear, it will be not noticeable at once. But being a grammarian, what struck me tonight is are those beautifully turned thoughts. Oh, by the way, there is one word I have noted for tonight that I found the word beautiful. Like when one is a crossroad, somebody say kondari. That was a good word. And for the list of the beautifully turned thoughts or captured or whatsoever, here are the list. First is that one of this is that the speaker said that in answer to the question that it is both a moral and legal obligation. That is to impediments about in the Philippines. And then he also mentioned that there should be moral ascendancy, and that it is not about gender. It is because gender is just the incidental aspect of life, or comes out of yes. So in other words, that speaker says that what really defines same-sex marriage is that it is not just a the people involved, but it is more difficult. It is deeper than that. And what is the deeper are the emotions or the humanness of being in the same sex. Of course, there's also one that really struck me because he was able to term, why not say same-sex marriage is certainly transformed into same-sex union, because there is an ocean of difference between the word marriage and the word union. As we all know that marriage is instituted by God, so only God can, if the term came from God, marriage. But union will sound more or less less controversial and more generic, because a union can be a union of joining forces. It can be a union of pooling resources. It can be a partnership or probably an unholy alliance, like those corrupt officials have uh, made during flood control. It can be a union, can also be an unholy alliance. So union embrace more meaning, and that dilutes the controversy when you say same-sex union rather than same-sex marriage. Um, because it is stripped of any religious or any angle, or what, religious angle, political angle, or what we say cultural angle. And yes, I really like that word. And of course, another uh, beautifully turtles is that that same-sex marriage can also, or same-sex union is also important to adopt, nurture, and love a child. Yes, and number, of course, I also like the answer to the question, is love enough to define a family? Because we are all fixated that family, because there are two definitions. One is the dictionary definition, and there is an operative or technical or working definition. Family, of course, in the dictionary is defined as parents and children. And but we all know that family has an extended meaning, and that is the reality. Like it can be affection between and closeness among people, and of course all the close to each other, good, enjoying good relationship, enjoying respect, and enjoying love, sharing love. So that means that family extended meaning is certainly the better option, or the better way to approach or to address that particular question. Yes, yes. For all of this, we can we can really feast on the various thoughts, and then certainly this is a topic that requires a lot of understanding and a lot of deeper uh, insights among us. Thank you. And how about our counter? Do we have an counter, or do we have a timer?
Hello, can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Press. I'm the feeler and motion evaluator.
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. I'm as your feeler and motion evaluator. My role is to take note or record the number of filler words, scratch words like to, repetitive words that role takers and speakers have stated or spoken during their speech. And as a motion evaluator, I also check or observe the gestures you make you made during your speeches. So I'll start first with the filler report, a counter or filler report. So first, our Toastmaster of the evening, Tev Sedi, have said and ums. Distinguished Toastmaster Christine have said you know, and very, very. I think the use of very, very has been used as a filler word and not as a part of her speech. Next is TMR have also uttered multiple and tus, and TM Rose have said one Well, for me, I have said multiple to be honest. And for the motion report, uh, we will we will appreciate if we can have the video shown by PM Oscar so we can see his gestures while listening to his speech. And then for PM Sedi, I recommend that you center yourself in the screen because you're inclined more to the outermost right of your screen. So please do have it centered on your next speech. Next is PM Rose. Although as this is one of your practice as an evaluation contestant, I hope you can have your camera set up that we can see also your gestures so we can judge it and observe it together with comment on what you can improve. And for Pressmar, I can see his gestures and I commend on how he flawlessly or graciously moved his hands to add dynamism on his speeches. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you take note of your feelers and motion during your next speech. Back to you, our General Evaluator, President Moore.
Again, now for the timer, I believe it is Toastmaster Rose. Toastmaster Rose.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yep.
Great. All right, let me get into it. Our meeting started tonight, 7:08 p.m. And let's see here. For our table topic speaker, I use the time for 2 minutes 10 seconds on time. Toastmaster Oscar overtime, 2 minutes 40 seconds. Toastmaster Rai overtime, 4 minutes 3 seconds. Toastmaster Christine overtime, 2 minutes 37 seconds.
Oh
For
my.
our prepared speech, Toastmaster Oscar said his video was for 7 minutes 17 seconds. That is on time. For the evaluation, we're both overtime, Toastmaster Christine. Because when you paused and then Toastmaster Oscar spoke and then you talked back again, I started the time again. So that's
okay.
4 minutes and 56 seconds. For me, oh my gosh, I'm disqualified. 3 minutes 48 seconds. For the grammarian, Toastmaster Mar overtime, 6 minutes 4 seconds. Toastmaster Jeff, congratulations, on time, 2 minutes 49 seconds. And now I did not press my time. I hope I am still on time. And that is how well we fared. We have a lot of overtimes and a bit of technical difficulties for tonight. But that is, of course, learning for our next meeting. And I return the control back to our General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rose, for the attention to time. Yes, we had a very productive evening again, and we were able to come up with a very legitimate and hearty and lively exchange of ideas, despite that we were only 6 right now, but the variety or the depth and diversity of thoughts are evident in our meeting. Yes, thank you. And it is really a different culture here in Toastmaster, in Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, because we have something distinct. And one of this is, of course, the ability of each one to step or to assume roles in a matter of with a drop of a hat if necessary. Thank you very much. And again, I look forward to again evaluating a club like this, Toastmasters Club.
To our prepared speakers, please mark your speech projects as completed right after this meeting. To our prepared speech evaluators, you may now complete and send the digital evaluation forms to your assigned speakers. Congratulations to our first and second placers during the recently concluded club level speech contests. They are now qualified to compete on the Area 03 speech contest on November 29. Rose and Mar for the evaluation category, Anna and Mar for the table topics category, Armel and Sedi for humorous speech category, Oscar and Elise for international speech category. Let us all greet our distinguished Toastmasters, Mark and Christine, a happy birthday this October. Level up your skills in evaluation, humorous, table topics, and international categories as we will set the stage for the Area 03 speech contest. This will be held on November 29, 2025 in DYCI, Bukawe, Bulacan, which will be followed by the area-wide year-end celebration. Our next educational meeting will be on October 28, 2025 at 7 p.m. The theme will be, Is Death the End of Life? A Halloween special, as we will define and defang death in a more scientific and metaphysical way. This will be hosted by distinguished Toastmaster Dan as our Toastmaster for that evening. Starting October 18 to November 22, 2025, we will do our WMS every Saturday at 2 p.m. via Zoom. This is to prepare our area-level contestants for the speech contests. To those who want to practice in a face-to-face setting, feel free to contact me and I will connect you to the available Toastmaster for the on-site mentoring. The WMS is open to Meycauayan Toastmasters Club members. To our viewers on our social media platform, we invite you to join us to our regular educational meetings every second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 7 to 9:30 p.m. This is done online via Zoom, admission is free, and follow us on our official social media accounts. For more personal and professional lessons about communication and leadership, download the previous issues of The Toast, the official e-newsletter of Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. Download it for free by scanning the QR code at your screen. Send your semi-annual club dues to our treasurer, Toastmaster Rose, by scanning the QR code at your screen. You may also pay it yourself via the Toastmasters International website. The same-sex marriage, which is recognized openly in other parts of the world, is still a social issue in our country. I admit, I am not comfortable yet with the same-sex marriage. But this is not about my comfort. It is about the need in the changing course of time. Let us not be dogmatic and overly theological in this kind of issue. What is important is that we embrace our fellow men regardless of sexual choices, with love and without any prejudice. Fellow Toastmasters, see you next meeting. I am your Vice President for Education, Mark Edrada, and this is the family that keeps up and looks further in learning more. This is Meycauayan Toastmasters Club.
We know that our VP is hardworking, and of course, we continue to really had a glimpse of the toast. Now, since we do not have any guests, we can certainly say that it has been an evening of, can we say, consummate learning. But again, thank you for everybody who really did more than an average share of their part. Thank you. And again, with the power vested in me by Toastmasters International, I hereby adjourn this meeting. Good evening to everybody.
Good evening.
Yes.
Good evening.
Helping each other climb with every word and every rhyme. Hand in hand we chart our course. Unity is our greatest force. Our family's a powerful source. Rise and lead. Together we succeed. In our hearts we believe. Rise and lead. Hand in hand we chart our course. Unity is our greatest force. Our family's a powerful